What's up, E? Okay, so you might be wondering, why is Austin wearing a Christmas hat? And it is because it is November 1st, and that is officially the first day of Christmas season. I don't make the rules. I just enforce them. I'm just kidding. But that is why I'm wearing my Christmas hat, because it is November 1st. I've been listening to Christmas music all morning. You know how I do. I want to put up the tree, but my mom said no. And I also want to put up window clings, but I think she'll say no. So I'm stuck to listen to Christmas music. But that's okay, because I like Christmas music. But anyway, enough about that. We are here today to go through... Oops, I dropped a book. Hold on. Oops, I dropped another book. Oh my goodness. My October reading wrap up. Here we go. I read, I believe, 10 books. Let me count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Read 10 books in October. Not bad, not bad. So we'll start with the first one. I read The Butcher and the Wren by Alana, I don't know. Elena, maybe. Urquhart. She is one of the hosts of the Morbid podcast. It's a good podcast. Check it out. But she wrote a novel that's kind of like true crime, but it's fictionalized, so it's not true crime. But it's like a crime novel. And it's about a killer. And it was good. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, maybe 4. I don't really remember. My sister gave it a 2. We read this for our September book club, but I read it in October. So, sorry, slacking. Yeah, we read it for September book club. We read The Headless Cupid for October book club. But anyways, this was a good book. It could have been written better. It seemed like it was set up for a sequel, which was kind of unnecessary. And like, don't write your first book to set up for a sequel. Like, write your first book, and then if you can fit a sequel around it, do a sequel. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But it was all right. Worth a read, I guess. The next book I read was The Love Hypothesis. I gave this 4.5 stars. This is a super good book. Love the romance. Love the spice. Well, the spice made me blush a little bit, but it was super good. It was like PG-13 up until the spice. Then the spice was like RX, NC-17, and then it went back to like PG-13. So I was like, okay, well, that's all right. But I gave this 4.5 stars. It was super good. I loved how science-y it was, and then the way it was written was cool, and I like this author. So I'm excited to read more from Allie Hazelwood. Okay, the next book I checked out from the library is The Girls Are Also Nice Here. This was recommended to me by my friend Kara, so I checked it out and read along with the audiobook. It was pretty good. I think I give it 3 or 4 stars. I don't really remember. I'll have to look at my Goodreads. But I liked the story. It was worth a read. I probably wouldn't read it again, but it was all right. So yeah, The Girls Are Also Nice Here. Got that read. Got to return that to the library, though. The next book I read was The Headless Cupid, iconic, by Zilpha Keatley Snyder. This book won the Newbery Award in its day. This author has won 3 Newbery Awards, and that's like prestigious. I've read all 3 of them this year. But this is my favorite by far. I read this as a kid because my mom was like, ooh, you should see if they have The Headless Cupid. And they did. And I checked it out and read it and loved it. And she knew about it because she read it as a kid in her library at school. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is like an old book, but it's super good. I loved it. I loved how the main girl, the stepsister, was like into the occult and like magic and like seances, and they have a seance in the book. It was super good. I recommend it if you like middle grade. This is a middle grade book, and it's a quick read, but if you like that, then I recommend The Headless Cupid. Next, I read Intensity by Dean Koontz. This was a really good read. I gave it 4 stars. My friend Sarah recommended it to me, and I actually bought a blind date with a book and chose mystery or horror, and this is the book that came, and it's super cool because I had this in my Amazon cart ready to buy it, and I got it in the mail in my blind date with a book. So I was like, ooh, that's pretty cool. But this is about like a killer, and there's a twist at the end about the true identity of the killer, and the whole time it's like very gory, very intense, definitely R-rated, but it's a good read, so I recommend Dean Koontz's Intensity. Okay, the next book I read was another from the library. It's a cozy mystery called Boston Scream Murder by Ginger Bolton. This was all right. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. The story was good. The twist I didn't see coming. I didn't know who the killer was until the very end. And I loved how cozy it was. I loved that there was a kitty. I loved that they had a donut shop and it was based around Halloween. That was perfect for me during spooky season. And yeah, I liked how the cat helped fight the murderer. So that was cool. But they introduced a lot of characters that had nothing to do with the plot. And I was like, I didn't know if maybe they had plot storylines in the other books in the series, because this is the 4th book in the series. But I haven't read any of them before or any of them after. So maybe they have, maybe you have to read them in order, but I didn't. So maybe that's why they introduced so many characters, but I felt like it distracted from the plot and I had a hard time keeping everybody together. So Boston Scream Murder. Then I read Love on the Brain. This is like the companion or by the same author as The Love Hypothesis. And I actually like this one better. I gave it 5 stars. Loved it. Such a good romance book. It's science-y again. I love that. The main characters work at NASA. And the girl, the love interest girl, is alternative. She dyes her hair pink and purple. You know, she has a septum ring. She's alternative, and I like that. So, yeah, Love on the Brain, 5 stars by Allie Hazelwood. Then I read The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. This is a quick read. Like, look at the font. Like, so big. 160-some pages. Let me look. 164 pages? Hold on. Yeah, 164 pages. It's like a 3-hour and like 8-minute, I think 8 or 10-minute audiobook, and I listened to it on like 1.7 speed or 2.0 speed. I don't really know. But this was a good book. The movie Hellraiser is based on this book, and I like the movie Hellraiser. We just watched it during spooky season, and I had to read the book, and the book basically follows the movie, but there are some changes, but it's a really good book. I recommend it. Perfect for spooky season and super gory. The author is super creative, and I enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars. Then the next book I read was Verity. I gave this 5 stars. It is by Colleen Hoover, my first Coho book, and I loved it. I love the writing. I love the story. Everybody in the story is fucking weird, but it was super good, and I am team manuscript. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Team manuscript all the way. Verity, I don't believe her. But anyway, spoiler alert. And then the last book I read, the 10th book I read, this is a thick one, 550 pages, was The First to Die at the End. I'm going to do a review on this book. And I read the first book. This is the prequel to They Both Die at the End. And I read that earlier this year. But I am going to do a review on this one and mention the first one in the review. So stay tuned for that. But definitely loved this book. 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. Loved the story, everything about it. I devoured it in like 2 days. So I loved this book. All right, and that is my reading wrap up for the month of October. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Tell me down in the comments any of these books that you would like to read. Let me know. I liked most of these books. So if you have any suggestions of books I should buy or check out from the library, please let me know in the comments. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hope you had a happy Halloween. And yeah, I thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means so much to me. So thank you. Peace.